Hello and welcome back to the Troopers podcast. Welcome back, Joe, Rodrigo. Thank you all for tuning in. So, how you doing, Joe?
Doing really good, man. It's been a good week. It's been as we're approaching the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah,
Uh, it's been good, man.
good. Good.
Starting
Good,
to see some
good.
Christmas lights out there a little early.
Yeah. Nice time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on this time of the year, and something that I wanted to talk about today is the Iron Maiden band and how the band members are very open and receptive of their fans. And I think a lot of it is just how much they love their fans. We know that this time of the year we get Nico McBrain's anniversary party at at his Rock and Roll Ribs restaurant in Florida.
That's right.
And I think it's pretty amazing how he takes the time once a year to bring everybody out. Hey everyone, everybody is welcome. Do I need a ticket? You don't need a ticket. Free. He'll bring everybody out. He'll play for everyone. He'll meet the fans, take pictures with the fans, sign stuff for the fans. How amazing is that?
It's really rare to see. Well, maybe not as common as you would think to see from an artist. An artist
That's that big.
that's this big, right? So popular that has an incredible fan base. So, and by the way, I'll share this with everyone. I'm sure Drew will touch on it here shortly. Is we're gonna go. We're gonna go meet him, and
We'll be there.
we'll be there. We're looking forward to it. And something that really calls out to me is the level of engagement that you get from Iron Maiden. I mean, if you stop and think about it, it really trails back even to how they sell tickets. Like First to the Barrier, that's very exclusive for their fan base, right?
Right. The fan
And
club.
the fan
Iron
club,
Maiden
right?
fan club.
The Iron Maiden fan club. So I mean,
And just
so
to make a quick pause, it's pretty amazing that they would do that for their fans.
mhm,
And lots of little perks. I mean, you get magazines, you get First to the Barrier,
right,
which we can expand on a little bit. You
sure,
get pre-sale, access to pre-sale tickets.
sure. So it kind of speaks to the level of engagement and the commitment, the appreciation that they have for their fans. And each one, if you've ever seen the Flight 666 film, you get a really good impression that they care about their fans. They're very overwhelmed, right, in many cases.
Right.
But when they get the opportunity, they will absolutely make the effort, take the time to make that either a signature or a photo opportunity, which is something you don't see every day. Without, yeah, and here I want to call this out. Not that you say that you don't see it, but without a fee. And when I say a
Oh
fee,
my God.
I'm talking a substantial amount of
Yeah.
money. Because there's a lot of artists that will give you that opportunity with a heavy price tag.
Right.
You won't find that with Iron Maiden.
No.
And here in a few minutes, I'd like you to kind of share your personal experience that will kind of describe exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, but that's really that's what I'm talking about when I say their appreciation for
Yeah.
their fans. And from my perspective, it looks like they haven't lost sight with what got them there.
Right.
Why is this so darn important?
Right.
And it shows in their actions. It's not just things that they say or things that they believe. They back it up with their actions.
Right.
And I say that it's not even backing it up. They don't even talk about it. They just do it.
Right.
And that's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big deal.
It's not marketed as
No, it's
oh,
not.
you'll get to meet
Right.
Nico
Mm-mm.
or you'll get to meet Steve. No, they just do it.
Yeah, they
Right?
just do it.
And if you're there and you didn't know it was a thing, I think you would be pleasantly surprised to see that Steve or Nico or Bruce or whoever would come out,
Sure.
meet the fans, do the picture, sign something. Right?
So when we're talking about this, and let me be very clear, we're not saying that at the end of one of their world tours at a big stadium, they're going to be hanging out in the back. That's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is if the opportunity is there. So I want to be very clear about that,
They would
because that would be impossible, right? I
Sure.
mean, oh, forget it, right?
Oh, yeah.
They'd
Yeah,
never
for
make it to
sure.
the next show.
For sure. They'd get
But-
stopped. They get thrown.
Right, right. So, but I'd like you to share with us the story about Steve
Oh.
to give everyone a really good perspective of what we're talking about today, and kind of connect the dots here.
Right. So it is important to note that Steve Harris and his band, British Lion, and I guess I'll make a quick pause and say that Steve Harris loves the music so much and playing for people that playing in Iron Maiden is just not enough. He has to go out with British Lion and play on his days off. If you've looked at the schedule for Iron Maiden tour on 2022, and then you look at the 2022 schedule for British Lion, you'll see that he's not getting days off like the rest of the band. He's actually going out and playing small venues. I'm talking about small clubs, really. Last time he was in Dallas, 2019. When he came to Dallas, it was actually in Deep Ellum. I'm sure you know the venue, Trees,
Trees.
in
Yep.
Deep Ellum,
Yep.
right? And wow, a stage that size
Yeah.
for Steve
It's
Harris.
a small stage. Yeah.
Wow. So of course I'm out there, right? And of course I'm the first one there.
So about what time is this?
I think I showed up around 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Right. I have my lawn chairs,
Mhm.
right? So I'm camping,
Sure.
right? Because you're sitting down waiting for the show.
Right.
And I'm just there, just waiting, right? And sometime around, maybe 3 o'clock, Steve Harris comes out of the tour bus, and everybody that was there, he met.
Wow.
He did pictures with everyone.
My gosh.
He signed everybody's stuff, and it was really great that he did that. Honestly, I was kind of struck a little bit. I didn't really know what to say. Like, oh my God, this is Steve Harris.
Yeah.
This is my hero,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is Iron Maiden. This
Yeah.
is the brain
Right.
of Iron Maiden. The whole
Right.
thing since the very inception of Iron
Right.
Maiden. This
Right.
is it. This is
Right.
the guy,
Uh-huh.
right? And he's standing in front of me, and I think he's about my same height.
Uh-huh.
I'm 5'6". I think he's somewhere around there. I think
Uh-huh.
Bruce is 5'6" too.
Uh-huh.
And just to be that close to him, I got up to him. His personal guard, which I don't know the name of, but if you've seen the documentaries, if you've been to the shows, you've seen this guy.
Was it the guy with the cigar?
No,
No, it was a different
it's a
one.
different guy.
Okay.
And I think this guy, I mean, he's been with Steve since forever.
Okay.
And he's there, right, just kind of watching everything. He actually took my picture with Steve.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
he
awesome.
grabbed my phone,
Yeah.
picture, and I'm next to Steve,
Yeah.
and you kind of hold him like, oh my God, Steve, you don't want to get too close to him, but at the
Uh-huh.
same time, it's just such a special moment
Right,
to be that
right.
close to him.
Yeah.
Broad daylight too, so
Yeah.
the pictures came out really nice
Man.
because it's really bright.
Yeah.
And unbelievable experience.
Yeah. I can
Lovely,
imagine.
lovely, and of course I got him to sign, the Iron Maiden fan club picture for
Yeah.
me, which I still have, of course. Just one of those little treasures.
Yeah.
And then after the show, he comes out, meets everybody again.
Wow.
So not just before the show, after the show.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that he's tired, he wants to go, get some rest or whatever.
Right.
No.
Right.
He went backstage, changed, probably into some dry clothes,
Sure.
and then came right back out.
My gosh.
Took pictures with everybody again.
Yeah. Now you could see that.
Incredible.
So when you think about it, if you have a band that is relatively new or hasn't been in production for so many years as Maiden has, I would say that might be a little bit more common.
Right.
But a band like Maiden that stretches all the way back to the '70s and has the audience that they have today, it is amazing to hear that the founder is doing that on
Right.
a small venue for the fans that are there waiting,
Right.
that have had and that have committed there in your case
To be there
the
that early.
entire day,
Right.
right? uh, and that's what I mean. And that's what I was getting at, everyone, is that they acknowledge that, and I feel that they understand that, not an obligation. I've never gotten the impression that they feel obligated. I feel like
Not
this
at
is
all.
something that they want to do.
Right.
They do it because they enjoy it, because they want to show their appreciation to,
Right.
I'm here today because of you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there it is. Without backing it up, there's no backup with the words. It is just mere action,
Of course.
genuine action.
Right.
And I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, I would assume, and I shouldn't make assumptions, but for bands that actually charge a fee for a meet and greet,
Hmm.
do you think they do it with the same love, the same passion? Because once you start talking about it being sort of a contractual obligation,
Right.
it may be different.
Sure.
Maybe the band or the artist may look at the meet and greet differently.
Yeah.
Almost like I have to do this
Right.
versus
Right.
I'm
They're
doing this
obligated.
because I
That's
love the people that are here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good call out. Yeah, I would feel that would be more obligated than not. So yeah, and I'm not saying that there's nothing genuine within meet and greets that you pay
Sure.
for. I don't think that's what we're saying, but you know, there's there might be a little bit of that tendency, or some fraction of
Right.
the obligatory actions behind it.
Versus them just doing it because they love to do it.
Hmm.
And it was never really announced as, oh, if you come out and see British Lion, you'll get to meet
Right,
Steve. Sort of
right.
like we want to
That
sell
was
more
never
tickets. That was never
right,
advertised.
right.
And for those that got to see multiple shows, you knew it was going to happen because you were at the show last night or whatever.
Sure.
But if you didn't, what a nice surprise
Yeah,
to just show up
yeah,
and then you are surprised by
yeah,
Steve, right?
yeah.
Or the anniversary party for Rock and Roll Ribs.
Right, right. That's another
Right.
one. So I know that he goes out and he has a concert. Many a bands will show up and play for the audience at his restaurant. So it's kind of a gathering of friends, family, I'm sure, to some degree as well. But it's all in celebration of music, and that's what's really cool about it. And also the fact that he will meet and sign autographs for his fans that came.
Right.
And I'll share this, that I've on the things I've read is people will kind of like do a pilgrimage to
Oh,
go
yeah.
see him, from whether it's across the world or across the nation, to be there
Right.
when he's there,
Yeah.
just to have that opportunity, to have that moment,
Right.
even for a fraction of a second.
Right.
It's there
To do the
together.
selfie. or
Yeah, yeah,
Have
and
him sign something.
and
for you.
again, what artist does that? And we're talking about, we know that Maiden is as big as they are, right? But then let's talk a little bit about the intricacy behind it.
Sure.
We're talking about one of the best bass players on the planet.
Oh,
We're talking about one of the best drummers on the planet.
yeah.
Legendary icons in their arena.
Yes.
And here they are,
Right.
humble and taking the pictures
Right.
and signing things for people face to face.
Right.
That is no price tag.
No.
No price tag.
It's
needed.
free.
It's
Just
free.
show up.
It is free. It is free. That's a big deal.
It is.
That is a big deal.
a
When
big
was the
deal.
last time, anyone that does worldwide tours,
Right.
to this degree, that you can just meet for free?
Right.
And
And if you think about it, at the British Lion show, you just go
Mhm.
and there's no obligation.
Yeah.
He sees people are lining up bright and early,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, I appreciate this fan. This fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
Joe. It's
It's
pretty
very
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And here's something that I remember in watching, and I'm going to go back to talking a little bit about the Flight 666 film. Is I remember watching as they were arriving at some hotel, whatever city it was. I'm sure someone's going to recall this one
Maybe
specifically.
somewhere in South America.
That's kind of where I'm thinking. Um, they had arrived. They had already landed. They were coming on the bus, and they were at the front entrance of the hotel. I think it was Japan, actually. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, but the whole lobby, front of the hotel, was just
Packed.
packed. Just people
Packed.
everywhere
Yeah.
because they knew Iron Maiden was going to
gonna
be
be
showing
there.
up
Right.
that day.
Right.
So not for the concert, not for anything, just so they could see. There was no meet and greet or anything like that. That did not happen there. But it was overwhelming, right? And that's what I'm talking about. They can't possibly do that because there were just thousands of people down at just. I'm sure the
It'll take a
hotel was
couple
just like,
days.
oh my gosh, right,
Yeah.
right. But so there had to be some kind of crowd control, right? And I remember as much, whether it was security or whatever staff that was trying to maintain the crowd, I remember seeing one person got through. One person got through. He
did something,
He did
right?
something,
He
right?
must have dodged the security
right?
guys.
He made it all the way to Steve Harris.
Oh my God.
And what did Steve Harris do?
He stopped for him.
This
Wow.
was him. He did it right there on the spot. He didn't stop moving, but he did
signed it.
He didn't push it away. He didn't just keep
Right.
going. As the numbers were there behind him, as much pressure it was there,
Yeah.
he did it.
Right.
That says something.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I remember that instant. What that really says about
Sure.
the musicians in that band
Right.
and the relationship between the fans.
Integrity, the humanity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pretty amazing, I think. Even Bruce, the
Mhm.
fact that he's doing a spoken word tour.
Yeah.
I actually got to see his first tour for the What Does This Button Do?
Right. The book tour.
I was lucky enough to be there in New York for
Mhm.
that show, and he took the time to sign everybody's book. Right. Again, they don't have to do that.
Right. And was that even advertised, Rodrigo?
It was not.
Of course not.
It was
He
just
just did it. He
Bruce
just did
Dickinson will do a presentation on his new book. What does this button do? And I'm like, of course I'm gonna be there. I look at the venue, and it
Uh-huh.
was, oh man, it was smaller than trees. It was tiny.
Yeah.
The stage was, it was tiny.
Yeah.
Hole on the wall.
Yeah.
Hole on the wall.
Yeah.
And of course, he just signed everybody's book.
Fantastic. That's
Pretty
amazing.
amazing that they
Yeah.
would do that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, it's not advertised.
Yeah.
They just do it.
Yeah.
They just do it.
Yeah.
Kind of the actions
Uh-huh.
speak louder than
Yeah.
we're gonna charge a fee. No, come on.
Yeah.
I think Iron Maiden's pretty amazing for that.
Yeah.
Now
absolutely.
I think some of the other guys are a little more reserved, a
Mhm.
little more quiet.
Sure.
I don't think I've seen anything on Dave. Janik.
No. The only thing I've heard about, I'll now call Janik out since you kind of mentioned him there, is, again from the film, is I remember them talking about how he likes to just roam on his own.
That is true.
And he will be out there in the public. I mean,
Right.
obviously when there's hordes of people, it's
It's tough.
impossible.
Right.
And they've even talked about how when it's that bad, They can't. They have to stay in because
Right.
there's just no way. But when he has the opportunity, he's out there,
I heard
there
he
on his
likes
own,
to explore
doing
the
his own
city.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I heard you can find him in Irish pubs.
Yeah, right. Right.
So after the show,
right.
if you just Google Irish pubs
right.
and you just hit up a couple, the people that have been lucky enough to run into him
Mhm.
at some of these Irish pubs, what they say is that he's the most laid back, just casual, just coolest guy you could meet.
Right. Right.
Like he'll have a conversation with you, not just hey the picture I'll sign whatever. No, like he'll talk to them, like full on conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool. You know, and that's something that you would think. Well, I would like to see more from artists where they show that appreciation.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's not any like that, but I think more to make it a little bit more common. Um, it really to be able to connect to your audience is a big deal, right?
I think so.
And it's you appreciate the music you either whether you grew up with it or it's new music that you've discovered, whatever that looks like, but you build that connection, and to have to some degree, a relationship there with the music and the artist.
Right.
The extension is that meet, is that picture or autograph, whatever, right? And it's something that you'd like to see a little bit more today, without the cost, of course. Obviously, is kind of where I'm
Right.
headed here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I know that in the 80s, Iron Maiden would randomly pop up in record stores and sign records, take pictures. So I think this is something that they've always done.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you remember back in the what is it Behind the Iron Curtain, where they played at a wedding,
Yeah.
and that was impromptu. That was ad hoc, not planned,
Right.
not scheduled. They just happened to be there. A band was needed, and they filled in, and it worked
Oh,
out. I mean,
really?
it maybe wasn't traditional, right? But they did it,
Yeah.
and I guarantee there was no bill at the end of that. There was
Probably
just,
not.
It was just there.
They probably did it just for fun,
Just for fun, right?
I think.
right.
right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the groom was an Iron Maiden fan. Who
Oh my
knows?
gosh. Could you imagine?
Right.
Yeah.
But Joe, December 4th,
December 4th.
Saturday, December 4th,
That's right.
Nico McBrain's Rock and Roll Ribs anniversary party.
That's right.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
I hope you guys, some of you can come out.
Yeah, that would be
For that.
fantastic. If you happen to be in Florida during that time, feel free to drop by. There's no cost. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know you're going to be
Yeah.
out there. We'd love to see you and meet with you and connect
Sure.
with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe bring you on for a couple of Q&As after the show and
Yeah, for sure.
share impressions.
Just a good conversation about the whole experience would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, gang, thanks for tuning in today. It was a ton of fun talking a little bit about experiences, and I'm sure there'll be many more to put on our, we'll say, notch on our belt.
For sure.
But until we see you again, up the irons.
Up the irons.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers.